know that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, if you know that I'm wonderfully and beautifully made, if you know that about yourself, things that people say won't stop you from getting to your success level. Okay? It's easier for some people than others, but that's okay. Because my mindset is, I want to get right here. And it doesn't matter how far I got to go. It doesn't matter how much work I have to do. But my goal is to get to my level of success. And it's all about how I feel about me. Overcoming your managing your mental health condition. It's all about choices. It is. You have to choose to go to your doctor on a regular basis. You have to choose to take your medications. You have to choose to use the strategies. You know, one of the things that I say is self-talk. I teach my kids self-talk. That's how you encourage your own self. You wake up every morning and you say, I can do all things through Christ. Okay, you wake up every morning and say, God said, I'm wonderfully and beautifully made. You wake up every morning and you say, I'm going to be what I was meant to be. It's all about choices. Choices keep people from overcoming drug and alcohol. Choices is what causes people to have lifestyle health conditions, heart conditions. A lot of that comes from the choices we make. We know that if we go to McDonald's, and man, boy, McDonald's, that Big Mac, man, that was the best sandwich, I'm telling you, in the whole world. And then they messed around and they made a bigger Big Mac than the Big Mac that they already had. Wow, that's so tempting for me. But see, what do I know? I already know that I got a family history of people that had heart disease. I already know. Okay, so my choices have to be that I got to stay away from that stuff if I want to be healthy, if I want to decrease my chances of, having a heart attack, having strokes. It's all about choices. Alcoholics, it's choices. Okay? When I make choices, and we teach people. Okay, it's a formula for taking low-risk choices about alcohol. And we teach them those formulas. We teach them the steps that they made, because you just don't wake up and become an alcoholic. You don't just wake up and become a drug addict. A lot of times they'll come through some years. You've been doing some stuff. You've been making bad choices for a long time. You've been making high-risk choices for a long time. You've been hanging with people that's all they want to do is drink. And you keep doing that years and years over time. Well, I have a video on here to where, because this is all in stages. This is a 20-hour program, so it's 2 days and then a half a day, 8 hours each day. So we have a video in there, and it's a group that's, they get together all the time. The first couple of times they get together, they're watching the game, and we look at the focus. Everybody's focus is on the game the first couple of times. Okay? Then we look at them later on. Then some people take off and go to the back and get some drinks, pour them a drink or something. So we know they're already, starting to get there. And then when we look at them in the later stages, guess what? Nobody's watching the game. Everybody's drinking. Okay? So, and it's because it's the choices that we make. It's the high-risk choices that lead us, okay, to get into a position where we're in trouble. Okay? And it's all about have to change the way that we feel about us. We have to know that we're good enough. You're 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 good enough. You already got in you what you need. You're good enough. You're good enough. You're good enough. You have to believe that inside of yourself. And when you believe that, your whole life changes. Mm-hmm. How I deal with people changes. My attitude, when I know a lot of people say you got a stink attitude. That means you have a terrible attitude. Okay? When I feel good about myself, it changes. Okay? Road rage. You know, some people, I see it all the time, man. Somebody just got killed last week, I think, on 285. Okay? Road rage. It's because I don't feel good about myself. And because I don't feel good about myself, it's easy for me to get distraught. It's easy for me to get angry. It's easy for me to become a terror. That's what we saw. That's why I showed the video. Because not only do those individuals have what it takes and they knew it, those individuals couldn't give up. Those were people that it took years for them to get to where they was going. Years. Years of work, years of believing in yourself, years of knowing that no matter what family I come from, okay, because I didn't see a lot of models of success when I was coming up. I came up in the projects in Atlanta. All I saw was people doing drugs and drinking. That's why I became an alcoholic. But at some point, I believed that I didn't have to be an alcoholic. At some point, I believed that I could be better than that. At some point, I believed that I can do whatever I want to. At some point. Don't matter. Some people came up in the same environment, but they didn't get to the point where they believed. I did. And that's the difference. It's the immaculate concept that I got to have of me. Not what people say. What people say do not matter. It doesn't. They can't control your destiny. They can't control where you go. The only person that can stop you is you. Okay? I had my website because my wife asked me, she said, and then I had a student last night as I was teaching my mindset class. She asked a question, because I always, at the end, get them, like I'm getting ready to end now, to let them ask questions. And one of the questions one of my students had was that somebody that have something like bipolar or something like that, can they ever get rid of that? Or can they ever, make it and be successful in life? And my wife asked me the same thing the other day. And I said, oh, you'll be surprised at how many people that are entertainers that have mental health. Halle Berry, okay, Bruce Willis, all of these people have mental health situations, right?
Yeah,
but
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's bipolar.
But the thing is, we have to manage our things. And I told her, it doesn't go away. It's just like addiction. It doesn't go away. It doesn't. And that's why the book From Dependency to Freedom, But I Still Must Fight, that's what that's all about. Because when I was on my journey to freedom from alcohol and drugs, I learned that even when I got to the point where I didn't use and drink anymore, I still had desires. Something was still in me trying to rise up. So you got to keep fighting. You got to keep using strategies. And it's the same way with other things. It's the same way with your mental health. If I manage it, if I use the strategies, okay, if I do the things that I need to do, if I make good choices, I'm on my way to my success. It's here. Some people might get there before you do, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just know that you can get here. All right? The Immaculate Concept of Me. When I change my perspective of how I see me, my whole world changes. All right? Questions? Anybody got any questions about the book? Anything that we talked about?
You have a website, you said?
My website?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple. You don't have to write it down. I have a couple for you. Yeah. And I actually got a podcast too where I talk about all of these things. You know, I think I got like 9 episodes out right now. You know, where I'm talking about things like that. I'm talking about, 10 things that we can do that don't require talent.
Go to YouTube for the podcast?
No, on the podcast, you have to go to my website. I got my podcast website right there.
Thank you.
But I'm talking about some of those same issues, things that I've researched, things that I've actually seen with my own eyes, and things that I've worked with. So, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
People get up in the morning and they feel good and they feel like they're on top of it, and
Right.
they do that for a day or 2 or
Right.
10 or 100.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who are fragile, and
Absolutely.
a lot of people are insecure,
Right.
which about the same thing,
Right.
in some cases.
Right.
What, other than just say, I'm going to get up and fight it today, because I see folks coming through here, but other parts of life
Right.
too.
I'm glad you asked that question, because in my book, From Dependency to Freedom, But I Still Must Fight, chapter 11, say I have to become a champion for others. So the one thing that I see people don't do, because this is what happened. God made us we want to feel valued. We want to feel like somebody needs us to do something. And so when we're not doing anything, when we're not making positive, when we're not having a positive effect on people, we're not where internally we're supposed to be. And it causes friction within us. So a lot of times those people are idle. They're not doing anything. So you got to find something to do. That's chapter 11. That's what that's about. You have to find something to do. Because as long as you're idle and you already got things going on, okay, guess what? That's messing with your mind, and all these thoughts are coming up. But when you're active, when you got people depending on you, okay, like I do every day when I teach these classes, I know that people are depending on me to give them something to help them feel good about themselves. And that motivates me. That helps me to understand that I can't go back to being a drug addict. I can't go back to being an alcoholic because too many people depend on me. So you have to be doing something. Yes?
I don't necessarily have a question, I would say, a comment. Sometimes I think we have to redefine terms, because for me, when I get up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
when I wake up, and
Yes.
I'm cognitive, I'm not half asleep.
Right.
And when I get dressed, and when I go about doing things about the day that need to be done, and maybe a few things that, I would like to do, as long as it's safe and healthy, then that's a success, because I've done something positive.
Right.
And I'm in a position where I can give positive feedback and encouragement to others. And it can be something, small.
Right.
I was washing dishes this morning at 1:30, and Carol sent me a text, and it was just out of the blue. I was feeling kind of discouraged, and it was like, wow, thank you. How did you know?
Right.
And it's stuff like that. I think that sometimes, maybe we need to redefine, failure. if the person that I was married to a long time ago hadn't left, when they did, I might not be where I am right now. And it was a good thing that he did leave.
Right.
Okay, for my health and the health
Right.
of my children.
Right.
And so, that might have looked like a failure, but it wasn't. It was his choice.
Right.
And the children and myself are better off today because of it.
Right. And that's what I said. That's, you know, I don't know if you subscribe to the Bible or not. I do. That's what the book of James, chapter 2, verse 4, that's what he's saying. Rejoice, my brothers and sisters, when you fall into all type of trials and tribulations, because you know that the testing of your faith brings about perseverance.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about. Is the Bible all through the New Testament is telling us that the way we get to where we're going to be, to our level of success, is we have to go through trials. Because we learn. I can't write a book. If I wasn't addicted to drugs and alcohol, my book would have no effect to people. I can't talk to people and really have empathy for them if I don't understand what they're going through. I had a young lady at the bank, they've been passing around my book at my bank that we've been with for 20 years. And she talked to me one day and she said, I got a sister, this is her 3rd DUI. Now she got to spend time in jail. She going through a lot. And she said, my sister though, when I saw her the other day in jail, she said that, I talk at her all the time. And she don't know how she's feeling. And I said, well, is that true? She said, it is. It really is, because I don't understand. And I told her that's why you need to get the book, because when you read the book, you will see what she's going through, and now you can be empathetic toward her. So, and that's what it takes. We got to be empathetic toward people.
I agree. Empathy is critical. I mean, you have to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Right.
If you can't do that,
Right.
you can't understand them.
Right. That's why, a lot of teachers don't understand why I don't have to yell and scream to get my students to do what I want them to do. And the reason is because I identify with most of them.
Well, they trust you.
Right.
But, you don't have to be you don't have to be a professional baseball player to coach baseball.
Right.
So you don't have to go through all of it.
Right.
To be able to,
Right.
because you've lived it, therefore I can relate.
Right.
But if you have empathy to appreciate people and see where they've been, you can.
Right. And the thing is, Jim, you're absolutely correct. But the thing is that if I want to be good at what I do, though, I do have to find some information on how to do it better.
Let's just assume that you'd never been through those things.
Right.
Could you still do what you're doing?
Right.
You could.
Right.
Because you would find that information elsewhere.
Right.
But if people don't change their core value, they don't make the right choice ever to begin with. So they still have to change their core value.
Absolutely. I agree. All right, it's been lovely, and we've done overtime. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I hope to come back some more times to share some other things.
Thank you.
Thank you.